Narration of a 3-year-old. Baby leeks along the edge that are struggling to come up. And these are leeks that I started inside. A few greens left, a bit of kale, and more beans to climb. Last head of cabbage. Worms have been awful this year. There's a bush bean, the herb on the corners. I think those are pinto beans. And my peas got started late, and they're all but dead. Planted an asparagus patch here, didn't look like it was going to come up, so I planted beans over it, and then the asparagus came up. So we have herbs, asparagus, and beans. More bush beans. Broccoli, row of purchased peppers. Almost every plant in the garden this year I either started inside or obviously seeded as the beans, but all my tomatoes except for about maybe 15 I raised from seed this year. Shout out to Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, rareseeds.com I think. A little beetle. Broccoli was seeded by hand, a little late also. Jalapeno plant. One of the first tomatoes I planted well before frost. I caged this one. The rest of my rows of kale, you can see my hoops I started for frost protection. Picked most of my cabbage because the worms were killing it too bad yesterday. Put it in the fridge. Gonna make sauerkraut out of it. A little bit of celery. Some of them have pulled out of it, the rest of them have stayed stunted. Those were purchased. And there's the greens bed again with the leeks. Lots of yellow pear tomatoes for that girl right there. That's her favorite. You can see I've got conduit with fence post strung up, clips. Hold on, baby, Day's making a video. I've already went through, well, I go through almost 100 clips every time I sucker and clip my tomatoes. So I finally gave up and bought a bag of 1,000 for like $35. Tomatillo, purple tomatillo. Most of the tomato plants I have are oddballs, we'll say. Not many. I've got a few beefsteaks on the ends, a few Romas, but that is really about the only red tomatoes that I've got. Over there through the bush is the wife, hard at work pulling weeds. Eggplant, store-bought, stunted for forever and is finally taken off. Messed up and put pepper plants in between this year. Most of them have stunted. I don't know if it's the lack of sunlight or just the growing season. Need to cut a few weeds out of there. And of course, back to our cucumbers. And another little friendly fella that needs to be pulled up. Let's come back to him. And the rest of my tomatoes. More tomatillos should be done good soon. Actually, I've got some Brad's Atomic. Those could be aromas. Brad's Atomic are already turned purple, and I actually picked some yesterday. see some. Fruits are larger than I thought they would be. And that's it. I built the whole garden this year. Went for intensive gardening. Tomatoes are planted, I think, 18 inches apart. And a different variety of beans for almost every box. Except in the middle, I put white half runners down at the end because that is what sells best around here. My wife is going to try and set up at the farmer's market and sell some of this year. But doing good so far. And way up in the distance, I'm not going to video it up close because it's covered over in weeds right now. I've got to mow it tomorrow. Is cantaloupe and all the different odd varieties of squash, also from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. And that's it. My little garden. Scarlet. Let's get my garden buddies. Scarlet. Hey girls. My two troubles. Bye.